Hey, everybody in small groups, it's Pastor Ray. Glad you tuned in, and afterwards give a large amount of cash to your small group leader and take them out to dinner. The couple things. Number one is this, Easter's coming. If you weren't around this weekend, we've got services here, but we are also doing 2 services at the Galleria for the entire community. Be praying about that. The second thing to be praying about is this week is when everybody leaves to Mexicali, Mexico, which means there are almost 1,200 people that need God's protection before, during, and afterwards, and need God's blessing on their lives. Mexico is when God works in and through people in a way I've never seen with teenagers before. So be praying about that. Now, on to Revelation. This week we talked about the church of Laodicea, and they were in hot water with God because they were lukewarm. There's a business guy named Max Dupree, and I was going to start with this weekend, but I didn't have time. Max Dupree is an amazing business guy. He, for years, he was a CEO, very innovative, very creative thinker, very smart, sharp leader, and really a great Christian guy. Wrote a book called Leadership Jazz, and he's done some great thinking about this. He was interviewed one time, and somebody asked him this question. They said, Mr. Dupree, what's the most difficult thing that you personally have had to work on? So small groups, if you think about that question, it's like, what's the most difficult thing that you have to work on, like with this passage, to stay spiritually hot, to stay spiritually on fire? His answer was so confusing, he had to explain it. They said, what's the most difficult thing? He said, here it is, the interception of entropy. And everybody's like, what in the world is that? Okay, and he said, it's basically kind of a loose definition. It's a physics term that's got something to do with the second law of thermodynamics, which says this, everything in the universe is winding down, okay? Which really means this, entropy is this, every single thing has a tendency to deteriorate, okay? I mean, take something, put it outside, leave it there for a month, it deteriorates, okay? Your lawn, left on its own, it will deteriorate. You've seen, that's entropy, okay? You go get a new car, you drive it off, it's all shiny, new, it drops $10,000 in the first year and starts to go into decline. That's entropy, okay? Your body, everybody's physical body, as finely tuned as your small group leaders' bodies are, if it's left to itself, it will deteriorate. Entropy is this, every single thing left on its own will deteriorate. Now, why is that a big deal? Because here's the principle. Everything, when it's not given 2 things, when it's not given attention and it's not given energy, will deteriorate. So my lawn, my car, my marriage, okay, if not given attention and energy, will deteriorate. And the real side problem is this. Then when that happens, hopes, dream, visions die, dreams kind of go on. And then what happens is people become apathetic or complacent, and then a really bad things, we begin to settle for mediocrity, and we get comfortable living a deteriorating life. That is exactly what happened to the church in Laodicea. They were evidently at one point hot, just like the water coming in. And eventually they got lukewarm. They deteriorated spiritually, okay? And they lost their heart for God, they lost their passion for ministry. And this weekend, we went through sort of God's prescription for what to do about that, okay? But I think the first thing, and it might be a smart thing in your small group, give people a little bit of time to write answer to these questions and then have this conversation, because we really didn't have time to come over this. In the message outline, I put 4 questions in, and these 4 questions are all designed to help prevent or stop or turn around deterioration in my life. Okay, so question 1 is this. Am I on fire? Okay, is my relationship with Jesus hot or I don't care? Good way to look at it is this. Has there ever been a time in my past where I was more on fire for God than I am now? Scale of 1 to 10. How you doing on that? Okay. Number 2 is this. What things keep me passionate and spiritually on fire for God? Be a great small group question. Everybody go, write down. What are the things that, boy, when you're in these settings or when you're doing this, man, it stokes the fires of your life and you're more passionate, okay? Third question is this. What things keep me from being spiritually fire? Third question is this. What things keep me from being spiritually on fire and alive for God? Are there things that when they're in my life, they just drag me down? Could be a person, could be a habit, could be a lifestyle, could be too busy, could be missing worship, whatever that is. Question number 4, What parts are there any parts of my life that lack urgency? In other words, is God trying to raise the urgency bar about anything in my life? And here's why I love this passage. God does not want you living a life of mediocrity with dead dreams and faded hopes. And let me leave you one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Romans chapter 12, verse 11 says this, never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor. The word keep, maintain it, work it. Keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord. There's this incredible power of neglect, but there's incredible power when I say, you know what, I'm going to put the things in my life that... One last thing about this whole subject. I was on a panel in Chicago years ago. And on that panel, it was a Christian university. I was on a panel, and somebody asked the question, the whole panel, what makes a Christian university Christian? Because a lot of them start that way, and they're all lukewarm, and chapels are boring. What does it make Christian? And everybody said, well, it's not the buildings. It's not the statement of faith, because a lot of colleges have a statement of faith that everybody ignores. It's not the textbooks. And my answer to that was this. What makes a Christian college Christian is when the faculty and staff are so on fire for God, was so passionate that when somebody comes in contact with them, the odds that they catch fire spiritually are as high as well. So the most important question really about this for any Christian college, Christian church, Christian university is how on fire is it? Because then when people come in, they catch fire as well. That's why I love everybody getting in a small group. It's kind of like taking logs. You're taking a log that's cold, putting it in an already burning fire, that log will catch fire. My prayer, you and I, catch fire and stay on fire and stay fully alive. Because the opposite of that is a declining life, and who wants to take a drink from the Dead Sea? Hey, God bless you and your small group. Have a great week talking about this stuff.